We conducted a survey. It involved a number of screenshots of the Google search engine, screenshots produced in response to various search terms, keyword terms. And we presented these search results pages to consumers and asked them a series of questions, asking them to identify the various components of the search results pages and whether they were able to distinguish particularly between organic search results, paid ads, but also other elements of the search results pages stemming from Google's vertical services. So things like Google News, Google Shopping, and Google Maps. And what our research found was there was a significant gap in consumers' understanding about the way that Google search operated, lack of understanding around the way that organic search results were produced, that they're the production of or the result of the Google algorithm producing results that are considered to be the most relevant for the particular search term entered. Overall, the results were really quite surprising. So the ability of all of the respondents to identify the differences between organic search results and paid for ads, we had about 40% of all respondents were unable to identify advertised links as opposed to organic search results, and that was across the board. The other really interesting finding for us in the survey was that 70% of all respondents were unable to identify Google Shopping as an affiliated service from Google's integrated services, vertical services models. The levels of confusion seem to be particularly high in the older demographic, so the most vulnerable Australians, the most vulnerable to confusion when they're using the Google search engine were older Australians, but also Australians without tertiary education. This was really interesting and kind of debunks a lot of the myths and assumptions around Google search. So the research was very much motivated by some statements that were made in litigation that the ACCC had brought against Google that ended up in the High Court. And at trial there were some comments made around the average Australian consumer and their interaction with the Google search engine. And those comments were that most Australians, by virtue of their accessing the internet, would have a basic understanding of the nature of the way that Google operates. But our research would say that that's absolutely not the case. It's certainly not the case in older Australians, and it's certainly not the case for Australians without tertiary education. But even across the board, and even those with tertiary education, there are some real gaps in the knowledge, and that's, we think, really quite significant, and is an area where there's a need for greater consumer awareness and education to improve digital literacy, given that every day Australians are interacting with the search engine and consuming information and buying products and engaging in that digital online space.